Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class on risk management and derivative, where we are discussing important concept of cost of carry model, or that is actually another name of continuous compounding. Already I explained a lot. If I've gone through all my previous sessions, you know how is continuous compounding related with compound interest. So I'm not going to again talk about the theory part of that. So we'll do this problem which came in the year 2020 last year. Okay, and this question, so you can see this question number 5. So here they are talking about a future contract. So what is basically a future contract? A future contract is basically it is exchange traded forward contract. Okay, so where whenever the long and short position holder, whenever they come to agree on a contract, both long and short position holder pays an amount to the exchange which is called as the initial margin. So whatever the initial margin the long position holder and short position holder has paid to the exchange, which is basically dependent upon the war, the valued risk over the portfolio, which is basically determined by the exchange by using span or any other risk assessment model. So once the exchange calculated the initial margin, both long and short position holder has to pay that amount to the exchange at the beginning of the contract, and then the exchange follow mark to market settlement. Okay, so we'll discuss the theoretical part of that. Okay, so or you can study the theoretical part by yourself to understand what is mark to market settlement, what is initial margin, what is maintenance margin, what is variation margin. All these terms you can easily understand by yourself. Now talking about here, there's a future contract on the share which is presently trading at 1,000 rupees. So the present value of the share is 1,000 rupees. So you can see the present value of share is 1,000 rupees. You can see the present value of share is 1,000 rupees. Okay. Then the life of the contract is 90 days. And during this time, the company will pay dividend of 30, 60, and so the company will pay dividend of 7.5, 8.5, 9 in 90 days. The two, assuming 360 days in a year, so I need to convert everything in the term of year. The life of the contract is 90 days. So the time to expiration of the contract is 90 days. 90 days, if I convert into year, 90 by 360 year, so it become 1 by 4 years. Okay, so in if I talk about Indian derivative exchange, we have 1 month contract, 2 month contract, 3 month contract in the case of financial derivatives, and they expires on the last Thursday of every month. Okay, and rolling settlement used to happen for them. So the spot price is 1,000 rupees. The time to expiration is 90 days or 1 by 4 year. Okay, then here it is given. Okay, it is given that the company will pay dividend of 7.5, 8.5, 9. Okay, so so that I need to find it out. So the dividend what the company is paying. So you can see this the dividend. So this is 90 days. It is 90-day contract. Right? It is 90-day contract. This is 0 day. You can see this is 90 day. So you can suppose this is 30 day. This is 60 day. So 7.5, 8.5, and 9. So 7.5 rupees dividend they will pay, then 8.5, and then 9 rupees. Okay, so what I can do to do the valuation, what I can do, like yesterday also, if you remember, I did for you people. So the present price of the stock is 1,000 rupees. So 1,000 rupees is the cost. Okay, 1,000 rupees is the cost, while 7.5, 8.5, 9, they are the inflow. Okay, they're basically inflow. Okay, they're basically your inflows. Okay, so 1,000 rupees is the cost. So what I can do here to solve the problem, I can find the present value of this, present value of this, present value of this. Okay, this I'll discount for 30 days, this I'll discount for 60 days, this I'll discount for 90 days. Okay, that present value, sum total of the present value, that I'll subtract from 1,000, and then I'll find the future value of 1,000 minus the present value of dividend into e to the power RP. that I can do. Okay, the R value is 12% per annum. The R value is 12% per annum. The R value is 12% per annum. Okay, that is the one way, or I can work on the future value. So let's first talk about the present value of business. So let's first talk about the calculation of present value of business, calculation of present value of dividend. 1 minute, be there. So now what we'll do here, the present value of dividend. So this is the future value. So the future value you did in second semester exam determining the present value. So you remember NPV calculation, but there what you did, you did on compound interest. This we are doing on continuous compounding. So this is 7.5 rupees, then 8.5 and 9 rupees. And your rate is 12%. Your rate is 12%. Your rate is 12%. Your rate is 12%. And the time you are getting this after 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. You can write this 30 by 360 means 1 by 12 year. This is 60 by 360, 1 by 6 year. And 90 would be 90 by 360, 1 by 4 year. Clear everyone? So I will find the present value. I'll find the present value. Present value of this will be 7.5 e to the power minus r into t. This is 8.5 into e to the power minus r into 1 by 6. This is 9 into e to the power minus r. Present value. Here everyone, so you can find this value. So if you see this, if I see this is 7.5 e to the power minus, this will be 0.01, right? This will be 8.5 e to the power minus 0.02, right? This will be 9 into e to the power minus 0.03, right? Are you agree with me? Now 0.12 divided by 12, 0.12 divided by 6, 0.12 divided by 4. Any doubt, anyone? Clear everyone? Now, this value of E and all, you can do it by scientific calculator. Here they gave you the value e to the power 0.01. Okay, but here the power is e to the power minus. So if you use your basic maths, you can understand this would be e to the power 0.01. This would be 8.5 divided by e to the power 0.02. This would be 9 divided by e to the power 0.03. I hope you understand. This much maths you must be know. 7th, 8th standard we studied powers and all. So here you can find the present value. This would be 7.5 divided by e to the power 0.01. That value is given to you 1.01005. 1.01005. This is 8.5 divided by 1.0202. 1.0202. This is 9 divided by 1.03045. 1.03045. Clear everyone? This is 7.4253. 7.4253. This is 8.5 divided by 1.0202. This is 8.33169. This is 9 divided by 1.03045. 8.73404. This plus 8.33169 plus 7.4253, that is equal to, so the present value of dividend, sum of present value of dividend is equal to, this is equal to 24.491038. This is the present value of dividend. Anyone, any doubt? Once you get the present value of dividend, okay, once we get the present value of dividend, then we can find the fair value of contract. So the fair value of contract, if you want to find, so your fair value of contract, your fair value of contract. So your fair value of contract, that would be how much? That would be your S naught minus present value of dividend into e to the power RT. So you S naught, the present price of stock is 1000. So 1000 minus E, 24.491038 e to the power R. R is 12%, right? R is 12%, and the time here is 90 days, means 1/4 years. You can solve this. So 1000 minus 24.491038. This is 975.508961. This is e to the power 0.03. e to the power 0.03, e to the power 0.03 is 1.03045. 1.03045 into 975.508961. So the fair value of contract 1.03045. This is equal to 1005.2132. Done everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Done everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Okay, so guys, the value of the stock was 1,000 rupees. Okay, so the fair value of contract, if no arbitrage opportunities exist, that would be how much? How much you got the answer? What is the answer you got right? Fair value of contract if no arbitrage opportunity exists. Anyone? So if you remember, the value of the stock was 1,000 rupees, right? So the value of stock was 1,000 rupees, and the fair value of contract working on the cost of carry model, we got 1,005.2132. Okay, so what is the value of cost of carry? The value of cost of carry would be 1,005.2132 minus 1,000. Means the value of cost of carry would be 5.2132, because the stock itself present value is 1,000 rupees. If you want to buy the stock, you have to pay 1,000 rupees and get the stock. But you don't wanted to buy the stock right now. You want to work on derivatives. You want to take future position on this stock. Okay, so because you want to take future contract or future position on the stock, you are actually not very much interested to pay 100% of money for the stock. So what you are doing, you are taking a role in derivative market. So you are taking long position or short position in derivative market. So the present value of stock is 1,000 rupees, and in the derivative market, the exercise price on this stock is 1,005.2132. Okay, so means what is the cost of carry? Okay, for this 3 month contract, that is actually 5.2132 rupees. Clear, everyone? Anyone, any doubt? Clear, everyone? Anyone have any doubt? So in this problem, what I did, I found the present value of dividends. Okay. So if you wanted, you could have found the future value of dividend. Subtract the future value of dividend with the future value of the stock value. You're getting me right? Yesterday I shown you the both the ways of getting the value of the future contract whenever there is a dividend is given to you. We did like that way. Anyone have any doubt? Clear, everyone? Any doubt, anyone? Everyone, please have a look on this problem. Okay, this is solved problem. You just need to see this. Ask me if you have any doubt. So there's a 4 month forward contract is there on 500 shares. Okay, where each share is priced 75 rupees. I can find the total value, which would be 500 into 75. So dividend of 2.5 rupees per share is expected to be accrued at the end of 3 months. So you can find the total dividend 2.5 into 500. Okay, so and then that you are getting at the end of 3 months. Okay, so this is 4 month contract. If you are getting a dividend at the end of 3 months, so if you work on future value scenario, then you can assume the future value of that dividend after 1 month, or this 3 month dividend, what you are going to receive after 3 months, find the present value of that and subtract it from the current value of the stock, which is actually 500 into 75, and the R you will take is 10%. And this is basically a 4 month contract where you are expecting to receive dividend at the end of 3 months. He just asked me if you have any doubt. Clear everyone? Anyone, any doubt? You want me to do this problem? Clear everyone? Anyone have any doubt? See this scenario. Everyone see this scenario. So this is an example. This is example of dividend yield, guys. So you know that the stock with dividend yield. So basically, like if you have a stock with dividend, no dividend yield. Suppose if I say non-dividend paying stock, if I talk about cost of carry model, and that if I say cost of carry model, cost of carry model, and here if I'm talking about non-dividend paying stock, if I'm talking about non-dividend paying stock, if I'm talking about non-dividend paying stock, then the value of F would be S naught e to the power RT. So okay, you know that, right? Now, if you have dividend paying stock, we did numerical, right, on dividend paying stock. So the dividend paying stock, your formula of the future value is equal to S naught minus present value of dividend, S naught minus present value of dividend into e to the power RT. Clear everyone? Now, next thing is that, guys, you need to understand whenever I talk about future and option contract which trades over the Indian derivative market. So we have a stock future, we have index future, we have stock option, we have index option. So understand this part. So normally for index option, what we do, we work on the dividend yield model. So for the index option, so to determine the future value of index future, to determine the future value of index future, to determine the future value of index future. If I talk about the future value of index future, we use a formula F is equal to S naught e to the power R minus Y into T, where what is the S naught? S naught is the current value of index. S naught is the current value of index. Okay, and R is the risk free, R is your cost of financing, or whatever your country's compounding rate of return, whatever is your rate of interest, that is your R. Okay, what is Y? Y is your dividend yield. Y is your dividend yield. Dividend yield, yesterday also I told you, dividend yield is basically the return what you get as an investor who look for dividend, the yearly return what you can expect while doing investment on dividend. So probably that we call as dividend yield. Okay, so whenever you get dividend yield, that would be benefit for you. Clear everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Clear everyone? So normally, no, when we see indexes, like if you see the Nifty value also, if I show you, the current value of Nifty. Nifty is right now trading at 15,872. Okay, if you see Nifty also, Nifty is trading at 15,872. Normally, if you see index and all, they trade always in number. So to convert that into rupee, we'll use some index multiplier. So here you can see that index multiplier is 50. One contract is equal to 50 units of Nifty 50 into value of Nifty. Are you getting me? So with that, I'll get the value of one contract. So whatever is the current value of Nifty, multiply that with 50. So with that, you'll get the value of the contract, the current value of the contract. So I hope you understood. And dividend yield is given 6%. Continuous compounding rate of return is given 10%. You have to find the future value of the 3-month forward contract. See this calculation. Anyone, any doubt? Clear, everyone? Any doubt? Clear, everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Guys, please reply. Have you understood this calculation? Have you understood? Okay. So remember the formula, guys. Remember this formula. So all these formulas we are actually using. We are actually using continuous compounding in all these formulas. So non-dividend paying stock, dividend paying stock, then dividend the stock index, or index future with dividend yield. If we want to find, so all this scenario, we are using cost of carry model. Similarly, for currency, if we have currency future, similarly, if we have currency future, so how will we determine the future value of currency future? So the future value of the currency future is basically determined by the formula called S naught e to the power RH minus RF into T. Okay, so if you understand currency always trade in pairs, you need to understand that the currency, if you say currency always trade in pairs. So when you look into the currency always trade in pair. Okay, so like if you see the current value or rupee dollar contract, if you see the current value rupee dollar contract, so you can see this is appreciated by 0.0%, 0.02% if you see this value. So if I ask you what is the value of rupees, so if I ask you what is the value of rupees, you can see $1 is equal to 74.3494 rupees. Okay, where 1 rupee is equal to 0.0135 dollar. You can see this value. You see this value. So this is the exchange rate. If you look into the currency, this is the exchange rate what we are following here. So whenever we look into the currency, you need to understand currency always trade in pair. Okay, so here when I'm sitting in India, how I look into the scenario. When I'm sitting in US, how will I look at the scenario? If you see, you will not find anywhere we use this relationship. You will not find books and other Like if anyone asks you what is the value rupee with term of dollar, no one will tell you 1 rupee is equal to 0.0135 dollar, because this is difficult to express. Normally, whenever we represent currency, we always represent currency as in 1 unit of stronger currency is equal to how many units of weaker currency. That is the how we represent a currency. Okay, so 1 unit of stronger currency is equal to how many units of weaker currency. Out of dollar and rupee, which is weaker currency? Rupee. Which is stronger currency? Dollar. I don't think you will have doubt on this. So when you see this kind of representation, that is a usual representation, right? 1 unit of stronger currency is equal to how many units of weaker currency. But then it varies from a way how we quote them. There's something called direct quote. There's something called direct quote. There's something called indirect quote. There's something called direct quote, or there's something called indirect quote. Okay, so if I'm sitting in India and I'm seeing this exchange rate called $1 is equal to 74 rupees. Okay, so this is called direct quote. And if I'm sitting in Mumbai and if I'm seeing the exchange rate called 1 rupee is equal to 0.0135 dollar, then this is called indirect quote. What is direct quote? Direct quote means 1 unit of foreign currency, 1 unit of foreign currency is equal to how many units of weaker currency? How many? Sorry, 1 unit of foreign currency is equal to how many units of domestic currency? That is direct quote. Indirect quote means 1 unit of domestic currency. 1 unit of domestic currency is equal to how many units of foreign currency? How many units of foreign currency? This is called as indirect quote. So other way we always represent the currency as stronger unit is equal to how many units of weaker unit. Okay, so for sitting in India, we don't find much indirect quote. We'll always find direct quote only because dollar is more stronger than rupee. I hope you will understand it. So here, when I'm seeing 1 rupee is equal to this much dollar, means I'm saying 1 unit of domestic currency, 1 unit of domestic currency is equal to how many units of foreign currency. Okay, this way it people get scared if they see the exchange rate like this, because our domestic currency is weaker than that foreign currency. I hope you understand. But if you see like this way, then we call this as an indirect quote. Clear, everyone? Where if you see $1 is equal to 74, okay, $1 is equal to 74.3494 rupees, then it is called as direct quote. Clear, everyone? Any doubt, anyone? Clear, everyone? Anyone have any doubt? So if right now $1 is equal to, that is equal to 74.34 rupees, then if $1 become more than 74.34 rupees, what this mean? This mean dollar appreciation. It means dollar appreciation and rupee depreciation. It means dollar appreciation and rupee depreciation. And if $1 become less than 74.34 rupees, what this mean? This mean dollar depreciation. It means dollar depreciation and rupee appreciation. So if I ask you which is better for Indian economy, okay, if I ask you which is better for our Indian economy, appreciation of rupee or depreciation of rupee? So your answer would be, what would be your answer? So this will depends upon scenario to scenario, because if we see our export oriented industries will depend upon how much our rupee will depreciate. More our rupee will depreciate, more we'll get advantage in the export front. Okay, so we have IT companies, we have service sector industries, which are totally contributing more than 50% of our GDP. Okay, and they will get benefited if rupee will depreciate and dollar will appreciate. Okay, but at the same time, you see imports like oil and gas. Right now, oil value has went beyond $100 per barrel. In India, oil is selling. We get petrol, diesel beyond 100 rupees per liter. People, political parties are fighting for that. So more the rupee will depreciate, more disadvantage the oil marketing companies will get in their import front. Okay, so oil is the blood of the economy. Oil and gas, they are the power. The power is the blood of the economy. In India, as a developing country, has very limited source of energy generation. So we are heavily dependent on fossil fuels for our energy consumption, and we need source of energy to survive. And when that time when we import more than 70% of our imports, oil consumption is basically through imports. So, and if the dollar will will appreciate and then rupee will depreciate, will get disadvantage on the import front. So you need to look into that. You need to look into the balance of payment. You need to look into the balance of current account and capital account to understand this scenario. So whenever we talk about currency, guys, currency always trade in pairs. So whenever we look into currency always trade in pair. So if you have currency future, so we use this formula. We use this formula to determine the future value of the currency. S naught means what is the present value of the currency into e to the power RH. RH means interest rate in home country. RF means interest rate in foreign country into time. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? So we'll do this much, guys, in today class. We'll continue discussion tomorrow. I hope you people have understood what all we have discussed in today class. So with that intention, I like to wind up the class. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.